Buying a home. I mean, let's face it, it can feel like you're walking through a minefield. You worry about overpaying, what hidden problems you'll find, those monthly payments that just feel daunting. I mean, it's enough to make anyone's head spin. But what if I told you there's one fear that should be at the very top of your list, but it often gets overlooked?
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. What fear are we talking about?
Well, we're diving into this blog post, a recent one, by Susie Karstedt. She's a real estate agent with Rethinking Real Estate in Lake Tapps, Washington.
Okay.
And she makes this really compelling case that picking the wrong agent is like the biggest mistake home buyers and sellers make. And it often leads to all those other fears we just talked about.
That's interesting. So why aren't people, I guess, more concerned about finding the right agent then?
Well, Susie, she highlights this fascinating survey in her post. And it turns out that only a tiny fraction, like a tiny, tiny fraction of home buyers, just 4% to be exact, listed picking a bad agent as their top fear.
Wow, 4%. That's surprisingly low considering the impact an agent can have, on the entire process.
It really is. And here's where it gets really interesting. Susie argues that a lot of those common anxieties buyers have, like finding hidden problems, overpaying, struggling with payments, those are actually things a good agent can help mitigate.
So it's almost like if you just focus on finding a top-notch agent like Susie, that those other fears would kind of evaporate.
Exactly. She actually calls it a marketing problem.
Yeah.
Like she's saying that agents need to do a better job of showcasing how they can solve those pain points for buyers and sellers.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If buyers don't understand the true value that a really good, skilled agent brings to the table, they might not really understand that it should be their top priority finding the right one.
Exactly. So let's kind of break down those common fears a little bit and see how a great agent can actually address them. So first up, we have the fear of buying a house with hidden problems. You don't want those nightmare scenarios where you've already signed on the dotted line and suddenly, bam, you've uncovered a major issue.
Right. Yeah, nobody wants that. And this is where a good agent really acts as your first line of defense. They're trained to spot, red flags during showings, things that an average buyer would probably totally miss.
Yeah.
And then they also have this network of trusted inspectors they can recommend to make sure you're getting a really thorough evaluation of the entire property.
So it's almost like having someone with a really keen eye and all this expert knowledge. They're like looking out for your interests.
Exactly. And they're there to protect you and guide you through all those potential pitfalls. But it even goes beyond that, like just spotting the problems. A good agent can also use their negotiation skills to your advantage. Let's say the inspection report uncovers an issue, like a leaky roof, something like that. A skilled negotiator, they can leverage that information to get you a price reduction, or have the seller agree to make the repairs before closing.
So they're not just pointing out problems, they're actively working to solve them for you.
Absolutely. They're your advocate. They're fighting to get you the best possible outcome. And that's just not something you'd be able to do as effectively on your own.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So a good agent can really act as a buffer, right? Shielding you from all those unexpected, surprises and stuff. But what about the fear of overpaying? Especially in a hot market, it's so easy to get caught up in that whole frenzy and end up offering way more than you should or than you're really comfortable with.
Yeah, that's a really, really valid concern. And that's where a good agent is kind of like your anchor in the middle of that storm. They have this deep knowledge of the local market. They understand recent comparable sales, and they can really help you analyze property values so that you can figure out what a fair offer price actually is.
So they're bringing the data and the objectivity to what can be a very emotional process.
Exactly. It's so easy to just get completely swept away in all that excitement, especially in a really competitive market. So a good agent can help you stay grounded and make sure you're making rational decisions that actually align with your budget and your financial goals. And, their commission is typically a percentage of the sale price, right? So it's actually in their best interest to help you get the best possible price, not just push for the highest offer, even if it's not the best thing for you.
Right. So they're actually incentivized to help you save money, not overspend. Okay, that's good. That's really reassuring. All right, let's move on to another common fear. This is a big one for a lot of potential homeowners. Struggling with the monthly payments.
Oh.
This is a scary one.
Absolutely. And this is where a good agent, they really go beyond just finding you a house you can technically afford. They can actually like act as your financial advisor in a lot of ways. They help you understand the complexities of all the different mortgages and make sure you're going to be really comfortable with that long-term commitment, that long-term financial commitment.
So they're not just, handing you off to a lender and saying, good luck with that. They're really involved, actively involved in the financing process.
Precisely. Like a good agent's going to connect you with reputable lenders, help you understand all the different loan options that are out there, and even guide you through that pre-approval process to make sure the entire transaction goes as smoothly as possible. And they can also help you factor in all those hidden costs that a lot of times, people don't even think about, things like property taxes and, insurance and potential HOA fees and all that stuff.
So it's about taking this holistic view of your finances, not just focusing on the sticker price of the house.
Exactly. It's about making sure that, you're not going to end up house poor and that you can comfortably manage those monthly payments without totally sacrificing, the rest of your life and your lifestyle.
That's a really, really great point. Okay. Last but not least, we have the fear of settling for a home that you don't absolutely love. That feeling of okay, well, this is good enough, but it's not quite the one.
Yeah. I think we all kind of dream of finding that perfect home. But the reality is that, compromises oftentimes need to be made. And a good agent really understands that. And they'll listen very carefully to all your needs and wants, and they'll help you identify your deal breakers and then really prioritize what's truly important to you.
So they're really digging deep to understand your vision for this.
Yeah.
And they're helping you articulate what it is you're really looking for.
Right. Exactly. They act like a sounding board, helping you kind of clarify your priorities. And then they're using, all their market knowledge and experience to find properties that are going to actually align with all those criteria you've given them. They're also really skilled at suggesting creative solutions. So maybe the perfect house for you doesn't, exist right now, but maybe with just a couple of renovations, that almost perfect property could become your dream home. You know what I mean?
So they're not just showing you houses, they're helping you to envision the possibilities.
Precisely. I mean, they're opening your mind to different options you might not have even considered on your own. They might even suggest looking into neighborhoods that you hadn't thought of before, areas that would offer the lifestyle and amenities that you're looking for.
That's fascinating. It really does sound like a good agent can make a huge difference in navigating all those common fears that people have when they're buying a house.
They really can. It all comes back to that expertise and their experience and that genuine desire to really help their clients achieve whatever their goals are.
And I think that's what Susie really emphasizes in her post, the importance of finding an agent who really truly has your back.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is invested in your success.
It's a partnership. You're really entrusting them with one of the biggest, if not the biggest, financial decisions of your entire life.
Right.
And they're the ones guiding you through that process, a very complex and often stressful process.
That makes a lot of sense. So how do we actually find those rock star agents? What are some of the key questions that we should be asking to really separate the truly exceptional from the average?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to know what you should be looking for in a good agent, but how do you actually go about finding someone who checks all those boxes?
Right. Yeah. You can't just open the phone book or browse some online listings. You have to be really proactive and do your research. I mean, think of it this way. You're hiring someone for any other important job. You wouldn't just pick the very first candidate you see without even checking their references, their experience.
Right. Absolutely not. No way. So what are some practical steps that people can take, our listeners can take, to find those exceptional agents, those rock stars?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would say you have to start by asking the right questions. And don't be afraid to interview a few different agents, multiple agents, before you actually commit to working with someone. Okay, so what kind of questions should we be asking? What should we be digging into?
Well, for starters, I would say really dig into their experience. How long have they been in the business? What types of properties do they actually specialize in? Have they worked with buyers in your price range and in the neighborhoods that you're actually interested in? Because remember, real estate is hyper-local, so you want someone who is very, very familiar with your target area.
Right. So you're looking for someone who has a proven track record of success in the specific market that you're interested in buying in.
Exactly. And don't just rely on their sales pitch, ask for some concrete examples of how they've helped other clients overcome challenges, negotiate some really good deals, maybe find some like hidden gems in a super competitive market. A truly great agent is going to be very happy, very eager to share all their success stories with you.
That's a great tip. What else? What else should we be looking for?
Okay, well, communication is key. I mean, this is a huge, huge thing. So ask about their communication style. How often are they going to be in touch with you? Do they prefer email, phone calls, text messages? Find out what works best for them and make sure it really aligns with your own preferences. You want an agent who is very responsive, very proactive. He's going to keep you informed every step of the way.
Yeah. You don't want to be left in the dark, like wondering what's happening with your offer or, trying to scramble to schedule showings last minute and that sort of thing. Right. Buying a home can be a very fast-paced process, so that clear and timely communication, that's just crucial. And while, their experience and communication skills, those are very essential, but don't underestimate the importance of just personality and rapport. Pay attention to how you feel when you interact with an agent. Do you feel comfortable asking them questions? Do they really listen to your concerns, listen attentively? Do you, trust their judgment? Yeah, trust is huge. You're putting a lot of faith in this person. I mean, they're guiding you through one of the biggest, financial decisions of your entire life.
Exactly. You said it. And remember, this is a long-term relationship. You're going to be spending a lot of time with your agent, so you really want to find someone you genuinely connect with and that you feel very comfortable working alongside.
Okay, so we've covered, the key questions to ask, but what about red flags? What are some warning signs that, an agent might not be the right fit for you?
Okay, well, I would say one major red flag is an agent who just seems really pushy or overly eager to just close the deal no matter what. If you feel pressured to make a decision before you're actually ready, or if they're trying to steer you towards properties that don't align with your needs at all, that's a sign to just proceed with caution.
So just trust your gut if something feels off, at all.
Absolutely. Trust your gut. Another red flag is an agent who doesn't really seem to be listening to you, or who just dismisses your concerns. You want an agent who really values your input, who respects your opinions, and who's going to take the time to understand, your unique situation.
It's about feeling heard and understood. You don't want to feel like you're just, another transaction.
Exactly, right. And finally, pay attention to their responsiveness and their follow-through. Are they very prompt in returning your calls, your emails? Do they, keep their appointments? Do they actually follow up on promises? I mean, these might seem like small things, but they can be really good indicators of their overall professionalism and their commitment to their clients.
So responsiveness and reliability, those are very essential qualities that you should be looking for in an agent.
Absolutely. You want someone who's organized, efficient, and on top of every single detail.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such an eye-opening conversation. I think we've successfully debunked the myth that all real estate agents are, just salespeople who are hungry for a commission.
I agree. A truly great agent, they are so much more than that. I mean, they're your advisor, your advocate, your guide, and your cheerleader throughout this whole home buying or selling journey.
And like Susie highlighted in her blog post, taking the time to find that perfect agent can actually alleviate a lot of the anxieties that are associated with, buying or selling a home.
Yeah, that's the key takeaway here. Finding the right agent isn't just about checking off a box on your to-do list. It's about finding that partner who can help you navigate the complexities of the real estate market, help you make really informed decisions and ultimately achieve all your goals.
Well said. And for those of you who want to delve a little deeper into Susie's insights and advice, we encourage you to check out her full blog post over at rethinkingre.com. It's packed with really valuable information that can empower you to make smart choices, good choices in your real estate journey.
It's a great resource for anyone, really, who's looking to buy or sell a home.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Finding the right real estate agent, it really is an investment. It's an investment in your peace of mind, your financial well-being, and your future happiness in your new home. Don't settle for mediocrity. Do your research, ask those tough questions, and find that agent who really truly deserves your trust and confidence. Your dream home and your sanity will thank you for it.